Hey, this is Dave from Galaxy Growth Media here in Texas. In this video, we're going to go over a case study of a irrigation sprinkler repair company out in Dallas, Texas, who we've helped generate over 3,000 leads in the past year and millions of dollars in revenue from the work that we've done, all just by using his website, Google Ads, and SEO, and it's been extremely profitable. So we're going to go through the exact steps from the beginning to where he is now and what you need to do if you're an irrigation company to see similar results. So the first thing that we always do when we work with somebody, especially if they're doing full marketing with us, is you start with the website. And so let me just show you really quickly what his original website looked like when he came to us. So this was his page, okay? And it's a little messed up because I'm using the Wayback Machine, but the purpose of this, of showing you this, is the content that's on his website, the structure of it, how many pages he actually had. He had like four or five pages, and almost nothing on the homepage. So we rebuilt his website, and I'm going to go through our SEO process because the way you structure your website is extremely important in how you're going to rank. When you're ranking, how many leads you're going to get, how people are actually going to convert when they land on your page. And so when we created the website, we created a page for every single service, the way that people actually are searching for irrigation services and irrigation keywords. And then we also created pages for every single service area that he serves. And I'll explain the purpose of that in a bit. So I just want to go through a couple things on the homepage with you. So this is something that a lot of people just don't really understand is on your homepage, like this is your most important page. And this is the page that's connected typically 99% of the time, unless you have a multi-location business, to your Google business profile. And what you really need to do and you really need to focus on is make your H1, this is your H1 here, this is your header, and your page title to target the primary keyword that you're going after, in this case, sprinkler repair, and also the city that you're located in. You need to literally, you have to localize every single page, and I'll show you what that looks like as well in a bit. The other thing is, obviously, we just make it look a lot better. We fill it with content that is relevant, pictures of the company, call to actions essentially everywhere. And there's a form at the bottom, there's a form at the top. This is another thing that we like to do, and we always suggest it, is you get a form right on the top of the page. When people are doing a search, especially for local service business, and they know they need sprinkler repair, they don't want to navigate to find how to get in touch with you. So we like to keep these call to actions and these forms right at the top of the page, and we do it with every single page that we make, in addition to having call buttons essentially everywhere. So let me just show you now a service page. So even on the service pages, we're targeting the location, we're targeting the service. We have different keywords that are commonly used for these sorts of searches to just grab more search volume, more different types of searches. And again, structured in a very similar way. We have FAQs here at the bottom that are sent back to Google with schema data. We have pages made for literally every single service and every single area. And so, anyways, this is the sort of structure that you need if you want to have a thriving website on Google search. And to kind of just paint a picture and show you what this looks like, this, as you can see, is when we launched the website. And this is where we're at now. Okay, so just a couple of days ago, he had 21 clicks to his website, which is huge for local business. But overall, as you can see, the trend has gone straight up, and it's only been a year. So SEO is a grind. You're not going to get immediate results like you will with ads. This client is running ads as well. But now if you look at non-branded queries, this is new from Google, so they only have data from just recently, a few months ago. you'll see the top clicks. So sprinkler repair Frisco, this is exactly what we want. Frisco sprinkler repair, sprinkler repair near me, and then now queries as well for the different service pages, area pages that we made. So it's very steady growth. This is very, a very common looking chart for the clients that we work with. And then, the other thing as well, like I said, your website growth, the pages that you rank for, the pages that are showing up, it all helps your Google business profile. You cannot ignore your website. We also do blog content where we're creating content based on keywords that people are actually searching for. And so, people in Frisco that are searching questions like this, how often should you flush your sprinkler system? His website is now going to show up for it. And, we do a few other things as well that are very important. So we're linking back to other service pages. And over time, the more and more you do this, the more these pages are going to build an authority. Google looks at it like, oh, this page has a lot of links. It must be important. Let me rank it up. Real quick, before we keep going, I just wanted to share something very, very important. Over the past couple of years, we've been using an internal tool that we created to help our clients rank higher and to make a lot more money from Google Search and Google Maps. We just released it to the public. It's called RocketRank. It's built specifically for home service contractors, and you could try it completely for free. So what this does is a couple of things. So it handles your Google business profile. It handles your website content. Every job that you do can turn into a Google ranking signal. It takes literally 30 seconds to do this. And this is what's going to happen. It's going to go to your website. It's going to tell Google exactly where you did work, what you did. And it also publishes content on autopilot on your website that comes from real Google search data. So this is not something that you throw in AI and it spits out a useless article that people will never search for. This is something that people are actually searching for. This is all done every single month for you on autopilot. You see your whole content plan. It has interlinking to your other pages, links to external sources, images, videos, all this done completely hands off. And just to show you how it works, here's a client that Millwork Cedar Sheds. He's a treehouse builder. I'll show you his website. He started using it over here. This is when we built his website. We launched these tools for him, and his traffic has absolutely exploded in just the last 3 months. And these are some of the keywords now that he's ranking very, very highly for. So for everything that he's targeting, and this is his website. So like I said, if you want to try it out, there's a free trial. You could test it out completely for free. And it's a 14-day free trial, and I think you're going to really like it. And so as far as performance is concerned on the Google Business Profile, take a look at this, 621 reviews. When we started, I believe they were at around 120, so just in the last year. But if you look at the interactions, 1,000 interactions, let me move myself a little bit. Obviously, sprinklers is going to be seasonal. You're still going to get calls, though, year-round, depending on where you're at. We're in Texas, so if you're in Texas, you're going to still get calls. But in March, 336 interactions. Just from his Google Business Profile, 131 phone calls, 294 calls in the last 6 months. Website clicks. This is another reason why your website is very important. People are going to go to your website. If you don't have a Google Business Profile, a lot of people will just skip over you. So you're going to be missing out on a lot of potential leads. 400, and if your website's not structured right, if your website is just not set to, designed to convert better, you're going to be missing out. But 172 website clicks just in March alone. And before I forget, as far as map rankings is concerned, so this is for the keyword sprinkler repair near me. And right now he ranks #1 for this keyword in his area. And so a couple of things to really understand, because a lot of the times when people show these map rankings and other companies, it's very misleading. So your Google prioritizes your location 100%. If there's a business in McKinney, like this is the city over here that does sprinkler repair, and someone is doing a search there, Google is going to prioritize that location for sure. And so this map scan, this radius that we're looking at is about 144 square miles, which is typically, it's quite big. Typically, if you're in an area that's very competitive, that has a lot of major cities nearby, you're not going to rank #1 in other cities. No matter what you do, if there's a company that is directly, in that city, in that spot, in your service, even if they have like 5 or 10 reviews, if they have an exact match on their business name, like targeting the city. So there's a lot of variables, but generally within like this area here in 100 square miles, you should be able to dominate once you're ranking well and you're doing everything right. So even though he's not ranking number one in all of these spots that are in other cities, in his area, in actual Frisco where he is, he's number one essentially everywhere. So like I said, we're starting to encroach in a bunch of other cities, and you're typically, it's just not going to work no matter what you do unless you create a profile in that city. And it's going to most likely continue to get tough because there's just more businesses that pop up over time. And so Google's solution to that is essentially just tightening the radius and making your proximity a very big factor. With that said, he's still ranking better than everybody else in this area. Share local voice is how well you're, how often you're showing up with this tool, Local Falcon, how often you're showing up in the top 3. It's a percentage in all the grid points that we checked. So if you look at this, he is still the market leader in this area, and he is above, far and away above everybody else. If we look at a more specific search term, sprinkler repair Frisco, he's at the top for this. But this is also kind of misleading because, like I said, this is a very big area. Someone in Plano down here is not looking for a sprinkler repair Frisco, but this is a very big area that we're looking at. But in his area, in Frisco, he's ranked number one across the board for it. So before I get into the Google ads and how we have that set up, because that's the next thing that we've done, is I want to show you the results. All right, so we track, and all of our clients get text notifications whenever they get a lead. They have a dashboard where they could log in, see all the leads. We track what's coming in. We track the source of the lead, the date, pretty much everything. So we're informed. Our clients are informed. And let me just scroll down. So like so far, these are just form submissions. This is not phone calls. I'm going to show you phone calls in a second. So this is form submissions, and so far we're still in April. But if you scroll down, if you see this right here, page 1 of 11, this is 100 form submissions on each page. That means there's over 1,100 form submissions in the last year. And as you can see, a majority of this is from organic. He just turned back on his paid ads because he's been getting very busy and he didn't need them. But sprinkler repair, literally on the last 100 leads on form submissions in the last month, 4 of them came from paid ads. The rest of them were organic from SEO. On the phone call side, over the past year and now 3 months, 2,100 calls from his website and from paid ads. So in the last year and 2 months or so, that's over 3,000 leads that's been generated because of this, because of the website, because of the ads that we're about to show. And obviously it's been extremely profitable, millions of dollars in revenue. And before I show the ads, there's one that I wanted to kind of touch on here, is that if you don't have a good business or a good operations or a team that can support this sort of growth, then it's going to be very, very difficult. So like, I'm not trying to take full credit of what we did. Obviously the improvements and the constant maintenance, the constant work that allows for this sort of growth, like that helps a lot. But you still need a good team. You still need to be able to handle the leads that come in. You need to be able to close the leads that come in. You need to be able to ask them for reviews. You need to be able to do a good job, more importantly. And if you can do those things, then what I'm showing you today will work for you, and you can build a $1 million, multi-million-dollar business. But you need to make sure that you have your ducks in a row before you really start expanding and growing like this. All right, so on the ad side now, let's just look at the last 4 months. So he had a little bit of a pause, like I said over here, but he's back to running ads. So daily budget of $200. When they started, they were not at $200. I believe they were at 50 or 60 or so. I can go back and check. 25% conversion rate, $50 a lead at the moment. So a lot of these too, like your conversion cost and your click cost, is very dependent on your exact location. If you're in an area and you're targeting a location that has less competition, so there's less of a population, less businesses overall, it's going to be cheaper. If you're in an area where you're targeting like a very, very, metro competitive, very competitive area, metro city, your costs are going to be higher. And the way Google Ads works, it's a bidding system, so you're essentially competing against other businesses that want that click. So I'm not going to get into the overall strategy and some of the changes and stuff that we made, otherwise we'll get way too in depth. But what I will share is a few. So we're constantly testing different sort of ad groups and different phrases, different variations that we can go after. So essentially the way that this works is, and this is how you want to target things, you create ad groups covering the way that people are searching for things. So, you can get as granular as you want, but you don't want to throw all these keywords into one big ad group. You don't want to do broad keywords, especially. Otherwise, Google is going to start showing you for tons of, and this is the biggest issue that I see with ads. People just do broad. People do, they take Google's advice, Google's recommendations, which are very bad most of the time. And you don't want to do it if you're a service business, if you're in irrigation or whatever, a home service. You want to be very specific with your keywords. You want to target very high intent. Someone looking for sprinkler repair near me, irrigation repair near me. Obviously, like, those are the best keywords that you can go for. But then you can drill it down even further and go a little more niche. And maybe someone is typing in, like, what happened to my sprinkler head? How do I get my sprinkler head fixed? Or my sprinkler controller is not working. And if that's a service that you offer, you create an ad group for it. And the reason that you do that, when you create separate ad groups, you can make your ad messaging speak to that keyword and to that pain point and to that problem. And then it's a lot more relevant, and people are going to click it because it's relevant. It's not just a generic, we do sprinkler repair ad. We fix your sprinkler controller for you, and this is our price. Get in touch, whatever your ad copy is. The other thing that is extremely important when it comes to running ads is you should always have a separate landing page, and separate landing page depending on, the different sort of ad groups that you're targeting, if they're like completely different services. So there's a few big differences, and I'll start with, right at the top. So this is the landing page. This is the actual website and the homepage. So right off the bat, you can see we remove the header, okay? So there's no links, there's no navigation, they can't click anywhere. Someone is searching for a sprinkler repair. They don't need to go to your website and start clicking all these buttons to see all the other services that you do. You want to keep them focused. People will get distracted. They'll click away. They forgot why they even clicked on your page in the first place, and then you pay for that click. So keep it very focused. Again, we put the forums right at the top. We put a button to call right at the top, essentially everywhere. Right underneath, we show his 500 reviews that he has. We have it highlighted here. It scrolls through. We go over the exact service that they're really trying to run, the complete system diagnostic, and about us. Super simple, big text, button, buttons everywhere, and that's it. And get another button at the bottom. And then again, at the bottom, there's no navigation. There's no forms. There's none of that. They click on any of these buttons here. It's either phone call or it goes back up to the form. So again, if you look at the homepage, there's way more content, but it doesn't matter because we're not doing SEO on the landing page. The landing page is just made to convert someone that clicks, that did a search, into a lead. So if you're an irrigation contractor, you do sprinkler repair, and this video was helpful for you to show you exactly how we set things up for this client and how we've helped generate over 3,000 leads for him the past year. I would greatly appreciate if you were to like the video and subscribe. We're looking to put out more content, helpful content for business owners and home service companies just like this. If you are an irrigation company and you want help, whether it's with the website, SEO, or ads, whatever the case is, I put a link to get in touch with me directly. You can book a call with me. We can get on a video call, whatever you want, and see if we can help. Other than that, thank you very much and have a wonderful day.